Hello and welcome to a very different kind of video. I'm filming this on my birthday because for once I'm not at work. So, with this rare opportunity, I decided to do something a little impulsive and take you with me on a journey. In classic Broke Life channel fashion, I grabbed the cheapest tickets I could find. Yes, of course it was Ryanair, and flew off to visit the one and only official Parkside store in Budapest, Hungary. Naturally, that meant surviving the signature Ryanair landing smooth as ever, and hopping on the cheapest possible public transport to reach my destination. But this is the broke life after all, and airport food was nowhere near the budget, so a quick stop at Lidl Bakery was in order. I mean, this is a budget Parkside video after all, so Lidl had to make an appearance, right? And while we're here, let me know down in the comments what your favorite Lidl bakery item is. With my cinnamon roll now a distant but delicious memory, it was back on the tram, where I was greeted by this beautiful sight from Budapest's Liberty Bridge. Fun fact, it was once named Franz Josef Bridge after the emperor himself played a role in hammering its last silver rivet. And of course it was stolen a couple of times before it was replaced with a regular rivet and the bridge renamed. I stayed on the tram for a while, but soon discovered I had a long bus ride ahead. And I really mean a long one. Very, very, very long. But hey, in the true broke life spirit, it only set me back about €4 for the round trip. And here we are, the final destination. No, not KFC. This is in fact the premier outlet shopping center in Budapest. So the Parkside shop should be around here somewhere. Let's go and find it. The place was bigger than it looked, and for a moment I feared I'd come all this way for nothing. No Parkside in sight. My heart skipped a beat, maybe two. But then, through the cars and past the trees, I saw it, quietly waiting on the other side. My steps quickened, each one filled with more excitement than the last. You see, I started this entire channel with Parkside reviews. This wasn't just a visit, it was a pilgrimage. And there I was, just outside. I stole a moment to breathe, letting the weight of all the editing yet to come settle on my shoulders. With each step closer, a quiet question surfaced. Would anyone truly watch this video? But doubts had no place here, as I had already entered the Parkside store. At first glance, the store did not seem very big, nor did they carry a wide variety of tools, but the ones they did have, they had in abundance. And everything, no matter the performance or regular Parkside versions, was on sale. So let's take a closer look. First, a quick note. All the prices here are in Hungarian forints, with the exchange rate being around 400 forints to €1. So right by the entrance, there was a massive pile of 12-volt Parkside Performance impact drivers, going for roughly €35 each. At that price, they're an excellent small and lightweight tool. But on the other side, they had the 20-volt brushed impact driver, the B2 version, priced at around €18. It's safe to say that I quickly started to regret not paying Ryanair for extra luggage. And just look at this, a lifting and tensioning tool for about €7. And not that I needed one, but there was a sheet metal folder for €25. And another thing I didn't need but I really wanted, a 20-volt cordless stapler, also around €25. Continuing through the shop, I came across tools I didn't quite understand, but once again there was a full shelf of those rock-solid Parkside 20-volt brushed impact drivers, all under €20, plus accessories for air compressors priced at less than €7. And maybe it was a good thing I didn't pay for extra luggage, because I could already see myself spending a lot here. But I guess the locals are already stocked up on all the Parkside they need, or maybe they just have better self-control than I do. And here's the middle aisle, also packed with accessories, all at 30% off. All the staple sets you may ever need. They've also got a ton of 20-volt right-angle impact wrenches going for about €35 each. A great, if slightly underpowered tool for working in tight spaces. I guess this is an attempt to make the drill look like it's being held by the Terminator or something. Too bad it's not available anymore. But just below it, more discounts on air staplers and wall-mounted tool storage boards. I definitely need to get one of these at some point. There were also a full shelf of 12-volt torches, priced at around €8. Really handy to have one of these. And of course, battery chargers of all sorts and sizes. And how about this? I know a lot of you really like the 12-volt mini grinder, but how do you like it when it costs less than €18? And next time I'm driving here, because at that price, I need a couple of these. Now on to more Parkside performance. They had plenty of chargers along with tools like the corded performance router, going for around €50. And of course, the 12-volt Parkside Performance multi-tool at the unbelievable price of €25. And once again, back to the middle aisle. Alongside the accessories, you can also find all the Parkside workwear you could ever need, and all at affordable prices. And how about €14 for a torque wrench? Sign me up for one for each wheel, please. There were far more accessories in the middle aisle than I ever expected, and the baseline discount was a solid 30% off, but in some cases I saw discounts as high as 40% or even more. Now I know Parkside accessories and consumables don't always have the best reputation, but at these prices I was tempted, and I mean really tempted. And then I remembered I was flying Ryanair. I really wanted one of these clamping and sewing rails, but I could never justify the full price. But here they were, nearly half off. Honestly, I get emotional just remembering I had to walk away. And with that, we're nearly at the end of the store, where you'll mostly find gardening tools, and the occasional multimeter or other random tool. I do have access to a garden, but truth be told, I don't do much with it. So when it comes to these tools, I can't offer much insight unfortunately, other than to say, yes, the prices were a lot lower than I expected. And with that, we find ourselves back where we started. Right by the cheap 12-volt impact drivers that are making me shed a tear for not being able to buy one. So, with an empty basket and a heavy heart, I had to leave. And outside, I marked the day with a cheap little bakery donut, a modest birthday tribute. And as I sat there, I quietly asked myself, where did it all go so wrong? Okay, well, that took an unexpected turn, so let's get back on track and talk about the shop. I'm not sure what the cost of living is like in Hungary, but to me, everything looked really reasonably priced. If I'd been driving, I probably would have bought loads of tools. The shop's smaller than what I expected, and there's not a huge variety. But what they do have, they have plenty of. Some items look like they've got a bit of cosmetic damage or transport damage, probably why they're discounted. But honestly, that does not bother me one bit. We're talking about tools, after all. I do wonder how these people plan to carry their Parkside tools home once they realize there is a Parkside shop right behind me. But hey, I'll let them figure out that on their own. And for the bikers watching, which one of these bikes is your favorite? I'm more of a Ducati guy myself, but let me know your pick in the comments below. And true to form, like a proper Ducati guy, I'm back on public transport. Then I saw this sign, and honestly it perfectly matched my mood after missing out on all those cheap tools. But hey, at least beautiful Budapest was there to lift my spirits, with some stunning sights as always. I still had a couple of hours left to soak it all in, so I figured, why not go sightseeing? And of course I switched to I totally know what I'm talking about voice because I read it online about 5 minutes ago, to share some fun facts and pretend I'm a tour guide. So you're welcome to tag along. So here's a fun fact. The Hungarian Parliament building is so huge that it has its own dedicated police force. They're responsible for protecting not just the building, but also the priceless crown of St. Stephen kept inside. Speaking of priceless, did you know that entry to the Fisherman's Bastion, located on a hill opposite the Parliament, is free after 9 p.m? It's a stunning architectural marvel in the Buda Castle district, offering panoramic views over the Danube and the Pest side of the city. Built in the late 19th century, the bastion was never meant for defense. It's actually a decorative lookout designed to celebrate the 1000th anniversary of the Hungarian state. Its fairy tale-like towers and terraces make it one of the most photogenic spots in Budapest, especially at night when it's beautifully lit and far less crowded. And as you turn to face the Parliament across the river, it's hard not to feel like you've stepped into a storybook, just with better lighting. As you walk through the quiet, cobbled streets of the Buda Castle district at night, Matthias Church rises to your left, its Gothic spires glowing softly under the warm moonlight. The colourful tiled roof, barely visible in the dark, still hints at its ornate beauty, a signature of the church that has stood here in some form since the 14th century. During the day, it draws crowds, but at night, there's a calm stillness. You can almost hear the echoes of history, coronations and sieges. To your right, the Baroque facades of centuries-old buildings reflect the dim light, standing quietly as if watching over the street. And as you approach the square ahead, the Holy Trinity column slowly comes into view. Its intricate carvings and sculpted saints cast dramatic shadows into the lamplight. Built after the plague of the early 1700s, it was meant as a gesture of gratitude and a plea for protection. At night, with no crowds and only the soft hum of the city in the distance, it feels more like a monument to endurance, a reminder of how much this city has been through and how beautifully it has endured. After a long day, I was starving, and true to broke traveller form, I went birthday dinner shopping at Lidl, where I picked up a budget tiramisu, a local sausage, and a local drink, all at Lidl, and the cheapest possible ones, of course. The sausage, a solid 4 out of 5. It is probably even better fresh from the market. The drink, if you like this kind of thing, a perfect 5. It's grape flavored and not too sweet like most stuff these days. And the tiramisu, let's just say it was amazing. But I'm too scared to rate it because I don't want to lose my Italian subscribers. Day 2, and I had a few hours before heading to the airport to wait for my delayed Ryanair flight. So I decided to take a walk along the Danube. And that's when I started noticing these tiny little bronze statues scattered around the city. They're part of a whimsical project by sculptor Kolodko, known for placing miniature artworks in unexpected spots all over Budapest. Each one tells a little story. Some are playful, some political, and others just wonderfully strange. One of the most beloved mini statues has a name I can't pronounce. The little green worm from a classic Hungarian kids show near the Danube. It's a nostalgic nod to childhood for many locals and another fun surprise for visitors. Kolodko's mini tank near Margaret Bridge is a nod to the 1956 Hungarian Revolution, when people took to the streets to demand freedom and change. The statue, small but powerful, serves as a quiet tribute to their courage and determination. I have no idea what the statue is trying to say, but I'm sure it has some deep, profound meaning. It's just way beyond my intellectual pay grade. And now time to see the Parliament building in the daylight. And I must say, it's even more impressive up close. Construction started in 1885 and took nearly 2 decades to finish. And that massive dome, it stands 96 meters tall, symbolizing the year 1896, when Hungary was founded. St. Stephen's Basilica is another important site, and fun fact, it's exactly the same height as the Parliament building, symbolizing the balance between church and state in Hungary. Now let's take the M1 metro line to our final destination, which by the way is continental Europe's oldest, running since 1896. This is the Millennium Monument, right in the heart of Heroes Square. It was built in 1896 to celebrate 1,000 years since the foundation of Hungary. At the center should be Archangel Gabriel, who was unfortunately missing on the day of my visit. He should be holding the Hungarian crown and the cross, and around him are statues of the 7 tribal leaders who first settled in the Carpathian Basin. In the background, you can see important figures from Hungarian history, basically a monument version of the who's who of the nation. It's dramatic, it's patriotic, and it's definitely worth a visit if you ever find yourself in Budapest. And with that, I had to fly off. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment down below. I'd love to read what you think.